We don't laugh because we are happy because we laugh. This startling reversal of common sense comes from William James, and it represents one of the most counterintuitive yet profound insights in the history of psychology. But what if everything we think we know about our emotions is backwards? What if the tears come before the sadness, the racing heart before the fear, the smile before the joy? For centuries, humans assumed that emotions worked in a simple, logical sequence. First, we encounter something in our environment, perhaps a charging bear in the wilderness. Second, our mind recognizes this as dangerous and generates the emotion of fear. Third, our body responds to this fear with physical symptoms like a pounding heart, sweating, and the urge to run. This seemed so obviously correct that few questioned it until William James came along in the late 1800s with a theory that would shake the foundations of psychological thinking. James proposed something radical. We experience emotions because of our bodily changes, not despite them. In his famous example, we don't run from the bear because we are afraid. We are afraid because we run from the bear. Our body reacts first, with all those physiological responses happening automatically and immediately. The racing heart, the surge of adrenaline, the tense muscles ready for flight. These occur before our conscious mind has even fully processed the threat. Only after our body has already begun its response do we interpret these physical sensations as the emotion we call fear. This became known as the James-Lange Theory, named after James and the Danish physiologist Carl Lange, who independently arrived at similar conclusions. The theory suggests that each emotion corresponds to a distinct pattern of physiological arousal. Sadness isn't just accompanied by tears and a heavy feeling in the chest. Sadness is the experience of tears and that heavy feeling in the chest. Joy isn't separate from the lightness in our step and the widening of our smile. Joy is the felt experience of those bodily changes. Consider how this plays out in a moment of grief. Traditional thinking would suggest that we first feel the psychological pain of loss, which then causes us to cry. But James would argue the opposite. Our body responds to the loss with automatic physiological changes, the tightening throat, the welling eyes, the slumped posture, and our experience of sadness emerges from our awareness of these bodily states. We don't cry because we are sad because we cry. This insight has profound implications for how we understand and manage our emotional lives. If James is correct, then changing our physical state can directly influence our emotional state. When we force ourselves to smile, even when we don't feel like it, we're not just pretending to be happy, we are actually creating the physiological conditions that generate happiness. When we stand tall with our shoulders back, we are not just appearing confident, we are manufacturing the bodily state that produces confidence. Modern neuroscience has provided fascinating support for James's century-old theory. Research shows that people who receive Botox injections, which prevents certain facial muscles from contracting, report feeling less intense negative emotions. When they can't fully frown, they don't feel sadness as deeply. Studies on forced smiling demonstrate that the mere act of holding a pen between our teeth, which activates the same muscles used in smiling, can improve our mood and make jokes seem funnier. The therapeutic implications are equally compelling. Rather than focusing solely on changing thoughts to change feelings, many modern therapies incorporate bodily practices. Breathing exercises don't just calm the mind, they create the physiological state that generates calmness. Power poses before important meetings aren't just confidence tricks, they're ways of generating the hormonal and muscular changes that create actual confidence. Exercise for depression isn't just distraction, it's manufacturing the neurochemical and physical states associated with well-being. This understanding also helps explain why acting techniques work so effectively. When actors adopt the physical postures, facial expressions, and breathing patterns of characters experiencing specific emotions, they often find themselves genuinely feeling those emotions. They're not just pretending, they're using their bodies to generate authentic emotional states. Yet James's theory also reveals something deeper about the nature of human experience. It suggests that the boundary between mind and body, between psychological and physical, is far more porous than we typically imagine. Our emotions aren't purely mental phenomena that happen to have physical symptoms. They're fundamentally embodied experiences that arise from the intricate dance between our physiological responses and our conscious awareness. This perspective invites us to pay closer attention to our bodies as emotional information systems. The knot in our stomach might be telling us about anxiety before our mind recognizes it. The tension in our shoulders might be signaling stress before we are consciously aware of feeling overwhelmed. Our bodies, in James's view, are constantly generating emotional intelligence that our minds then interpret and understand. Subscribe to the Psychology of William James to explore more of his timeless ideas.